Hey all, happy Tuesday. I'm sort of just in like waking up mode, or I've been up for a little bit, but I still look like I'm in waking up mode, is what I think I'm trying to explain to you. It's a rainy, snowy, icy morning here in Maine, so I'm not really like up yet. My brain isn't really awake yet because it's still gray. So I'm coming to you super honest. I did cover up my bedhead for you. Um, but this is also just because it's cold in here. It's not really vanity. It's just that it's cold and I don't want to go downstairs and actually get a hat, which feels a little silly given that I'm a human being who's evolved enough to live indoors and it's still pretty cold in here. But anywho, um, sound in if you're watching live or if you're watching the replay. Say hello. Let me know that you're here. Let me know how your day is going. Let me know where you're coming to me from. Um, I wanted to jump in. We have a kind of full day of kids stuff today. Um we're gonna hit the road in a few minutes, but I wanted to jump in to follow up. Yesterday really resonated with you guys. It's such an interesting process, and for those of you who are creating content, I hope that you're already doing this, but really when you're creating content, go back and notice what people are clicking on, what they're responding to. Good morning, Sabrina. Thanks for tuning in. Notice what is resonating with people, because I know that generally the stuff that I think you guys are really going to like, no one even sees. And then the stuff that I'm like, oh, I'm just going to come on and talk about something, it really hits a chord. So it's really important to be looking at your analytics, and your insights on your social media pages, and seeing what people are really engaging with, because it's always a shock to me what you guys want to see and hear. I still think that the video where I gave a tour of my bathroom was like one of the most popular ones I've done so far, which is just so funny to me. Like, who cares about my bathroom? I mean, it's a nice bathroom, I'll say that. But anyway, make sure that you're looking at what people are responding to and what people aren't, because generally, it's always a surprise to me, and it's really helpful to know because then I can create more of it. So I wanted to give you a little bit of a follow up on yesterday, where we were talking about when things feel really hard and just when things suck. And, you know, yeah, Serena, me too. I'm like, this is sheer gold. And like, no one even sees the video. Um, but we were talking about that, and that seemed to really resonate with you guys. And I think that it's really important to note, because I do think that a lot of the folks, like a lot of our like gurus and stuff, it just always looks so, their videos look shiny and polished. They're doing like 100K launches. And like, that's all great, and I'm happy for them. But that tends to make me feel like, wait a minute, I didn't have a 100K launch. Like, what's wrong with me? Or like, they never like sit in bed with a pimple on their chin and like make videos. So like, do they not get pimples? Do they not have really shitty days? Like, I just think that it's really important to talk about when things go wrong. And this is something that I model for my clients. They'll tell you, and maybe some of them will chime in, especially in the Sacred Biz Rebels group. I share my flat out failures and my disappointments and my flops, my epic fails. And those are some of their favorite stories. And I think they're really important to share, because if people aren't talking about what went wrong and where we were heartbroken and where we were disappointed and where something really failed, then they're just not showing you the whole picture. Because the entrepreneurial, I think Darren Hardy coined the term the entrepreneurial roller coaster, and it is a freaking roller coaster. And I think it's really important to talk about the lows, because if people who are like successful aren't talking about the lows, then everyone else might think that those lows aren't happening for them. And like, that's not true. They are having lows. Like, they are having horrible fights in their marriages. They are divorcing. They are having, social media campaigns that flop. They are, crying themselves to sleep. Like, all those things happen, as well as their shiny, like 100K launches. And, you know, um, like 600 people joined my mailing list yesterday. It's all happening. And I think that it really helps to talk about it. So I try to be really transparent about my epic fails and when I'm feeling like shit, because I want you to know that if that's happening to you too, there's nothing wrong with you, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with what you're doing. I mean, granted, you and I could probably make it work a lot better if we were working together, but like, even, even my clients, even I, like we all have days where things just suck and everything feels really icky and ideas don't take root and don't gain traction, and that's just a thing. So I was happy to see the resonance of yesterday's video, and I was glad that it really struck a chord for you and that you were happy that I was talking about it. Today I wanted to talk about um, today I wanted to talk about how to sort of get back on track, because that's something that historically has been a little hard for me, because I'm an all or nothing person. Like, I'm a black and white thinker. I'm like, okay, I do all of my magical practices every day, or I do none of them and then I'm failing and I suck and I'm a terrible witch and I'm a horrible business owner, or I plan my whole year out and then I have to like stay on track, or I'm a failure, I'm a business owner, I can't plan at all. Like, that's the way that my brain sort of thinks. There's like a perfectionism streak going on. And then the second that I drop one ball, I'm just like, oh shit, well, I dropped one ball. I got to drop all the balls. And then the opposite is hard. If I'm like, okay, how do I get back on track today? Because I'm feeling a little better. I feel like I have a little more energy. I slept really well. Then I'm like, oh, I don't have 30 minutes to do my whole magical morning grounding practice. So, like, oh, I can't do any of it. And now this is another day where I haven't done it. I don't know if this happens to any of you guys. Sound in the comments if you yeah, living in extremes. Exactly. So and that's also something where I've noticed that with my clients when they plan, it's also like sort of a part of, I think that entrepreneurial brains tend to think in really big pictures. So it's like as we plan, we're like, okay, launch the program, like that's the plan. But then our brains are like, oh, it's Tuesday, I'm not launching the program, I failed. Oh my gosh, it's Wednesday, I'm not launching the program. And so one of the things that I do with my clients, and this is such, Mooey, stop licking yourself on the bed, it's going to get the bed wet, it's so gross. You guys say good morning to Moxie Moo. Miss Moxie Moo. You say good morning, Miss Moxie. One of the things that I really help my clients do is break things down into very small steps. Any place that you feel overwhelmed, and this goes for your business or your friggin' magical morning practice or whatever, eating healthier, exercising, any place where you feel overwhelmed. I always say that overwhelm and procrastination are a sign that whatever the thing is that you're trying to do is too big. So break it down into small, small steps. Yes, Sabrina. Oh my God, you and me, girl. We're like this today. Um, so in other words, and I'll give you an example of my magical morning practice, because that's what I'm really sort of working with right now. So my magical morning practice is a series of things that takes about, I don't know, between 15 and 30 minutes, depending on how in depth. It's really hard to just jump into that whole 15 to 30 minutes. So yesterday morning, what I did was I was like, okay, I'm going to do one part of the practice today, just one. And I'm not going to beat myself up for not doing all of them. I'm just going to do one. And that was to pick a card, a tarot card, which is part of what I do every morning. And then I sat there and I sat with the card and I was like, all right, I feel good. That only took a minute. I'm actually going to go a step further and I'm going to look up the meaning. And then that felt really good. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to write it down in my alchemical journal, which is part of the practice that I've like not done for a few weeks and I feel really shitty about dropping. So because I was just following my own tiny steps and just sort of experienced success over and over again, yay, I pulled the card. That was the only goal I set for myself. So I've succeeded. My brain is like, doo doo doo. And like, there's a little like burst of like, what is it? Serotonin, oxytocin. Something happy happened in my brain because I was like, I said I was going to do a thing. I made it a really frigging small thing. So there was like pretty much zero chance that I was not going to do the thing. And then I experienced a happy pop of a bubble in my head. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a little bit more of the thing. And this is what I just call like setting yourself up for success. And if you set steps small enough, then you give yourself a chance to like succeed and succeed and succeed. And generally, you'll do more than you set yourself up to do. But even if you don't, you still succeeded. So with exercise, this might look like, you know what, I'm not doing the whole hour video that I said I was going to do. So, you know what, I'm just going to get on the floor. I'm going to stretch for like 5 minutes. I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes and that's all I'm going to do today. And then you might feel like doing more, you might not. Or let's go back to the business example, launching a program. Oh my God, it's Tuesday. I didn't launch the program. It's Wednesday. I didn't launch the program. On Thursday, I might say, okay, what would be the very first, smallest next step? I might sit down and write 10 names of people who I think might want to join the program. That's it. That's all I'm doing. And then the next day, I might write an email to each of them, or at least write a template that explains the program and says why I thought of them for it. And then the next day, I might write one social media post about the program. So you keep things real small. And that's how you kind of get up and get going again after a really shitty day. Small steps, small steps. For my clients, we generally break them into oh, I'm so glad, Katie. I totally hear you. It's funk weather right now, especially in Maine. And that's something else to consider. And maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. Oh, I just got a great idea for a video tomorrow. I'll talk about it tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about seasons and observing the seasons in your business, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. But generally, clients and I break down their plans or their work into 15-minute increments. That's it. 15-minute tasks. If it takes more than 15 minutes, then break it down into 2 tasks. And sometimes when clients are really stuck, we'll break it down into a 5 or 10-minute task. There's no time limit that's too small if it gets you moving again, because that's the important thing when you're really stuck and overwhelmed. The tiniest step, I don't care if you pick a 60-second step. When I used to do life coaching with women, I worked with women who were like super overwhelmed, usually mothers of really young children. And my goal was to get them to have space for themselves every single day. And every single woman that I started working with was like, I don't have space for myself every single day. Are you kidding me? Like, I can't even get 10 minutes. So the very first homework assignment I'd give them was just called 60 seconds a day for self. And I said, if you have to lock yourself in the bathroom, if you have to lock your children in the bathroom, I didn't say that, but you know what I mean. Literally 60 seconds a day for yourself. Light a candle, close your eyes, sit in the toilet and cry for 60 seconds. I don't care what it is. That was their first homework assignment, 60 seconds a day for themselves. And they all found it hard to do, but they were all able to, because 60 seconds is a really short period of time. And every one of them started seeing a change just from that 60 seconds. So maybe you're breaking a marketing task down into 5 minutes or even 60 seconds. Girl, start with 60 seconds. No one's going to know. No one's going to judge you. But just break it down. Break it way down. And Sabrina, yeah, the next step is really, or a next step is really looking at what happens when at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I should have done more. So one of the other things that my clients do to varying degrees is every single week they write for me a list of their celebrations, and they need to be watching for their celebrations all week. And it might be I did 2 10-minute tasks, but starting to look every single day for the celebrations and where you're in gratitude trains your brain to see it. So Sabrina, most of our brains are on a default setting of seeing what we didn't do every day, which is super fun, right? That's awesome to just have like a laundry list in your head of shit that you didn't get done that day. But I guarantee you, if you put a pad and pen beside your bed every night, Sabrina, and you write down 5 things, every morning, here's what I want you to do. Ready, Sabrina? Piece of paper and a pen by your bed. When you wake up in the morning, write the date and then write numbers 1 through 5. All day, be looking for what you're going to put in there. And at the end of the day, I want you to write down 5 things that you did every day. Just look for them. Yeah. And tell me how that goes. But you have to really train your brain to start seeing what happened instead of what didn't happen. It's just a neuro thing. Like, you have to retrain your brain. Anyway, I love you guys. I could talk to you all day, but I have to drive my kid 60 minutes to pick up her best friend and then 60 minutes back on the icy Maine highway. So I'm going to go do something with what's under here and get my ass on the road. But I love you guys. I'm so grateful to you for watching. If this resonates with you, please share it. My intention with these 30 videos in 30 days is just really to connect with you. Like, we're all so isolated and I can't get out into the world much anymore. And I just want to connect with those of you who are out there and following my Facebook page and in Sacred Biz Rebels. And I just want to connect and talk and see how I can be of support to you. So these videos are my attempt to do that. So I really, it means a lot to me when you watch them and when you comment and when you share them. It really means a lot. Or alternatively, you can tag women. If you're watching this on the Brit Bolnick public page, you can just tag women and bring them over to the page, and they can see the other 15 videos that I've done. But I appreciate you is what I'm trying to say. So have a great rest of the day. Stay warm. I'll try to remember to do the seasons thing tomorrow because it's Katie, you might really like it. So if you guys set your notifications to on, you'll see when I'm doing these. And I adore you. Have a great day.